Today we're looking at the causes of the Great Depression. Hello, welcome to the Daily Bellringer. Please don't forget to subscribe and take a look at the questions down in the description. Also, don't forget to check out dailybellringer.com where you'll find more resources that go with many of the Bellringer videos. The Great Depression was an economic downturn experienced by the United States and countries around the world starting in 1929 and continuing through the end of the 1930s. The Depression became so severe that by 1933, 1 in 4 Americans were without a job, with millions becoming homeless. There are many causes of the economic collapse, with historians and economists still arguing today as to the exact cause. But there are several basic and complex factors that contributed to this perfect economic storm. In no particular order, here are some of those factors. Throughout the 1920s, Americans had been caught up in a culture of consumerism as more and differing products were becoming available. From cars to radios to washing machines and household appliances, Americans were buying everything up, with many using credit or installment plans to buy. This led to companies producing more and more goods. By the late 1920s, many Americans had purchased the goods they wanted, and consumer buying began to slow down, but companies continued to produce more, leading to a surplus of goods. This would heavily contribute to the sudden crash of the U.S. economy. The stock market is a place where investors can buy part ownership or shares in a company in hopes that that company will make profits. If the company does well and makes money, then the shareholder will get dividends or their share of the profits. Of course, if the company does poorly, the shareholder will lose their money. Throughout the 1920s, more and more Americans were investing in the stock market as the American economy was booming. Many were purchasing stocks on margin, which meant they were only putting a small amount of money down and then using credit or borrowing money for the remainder of the price of the share. Most of this purchasing was based on speculation, which is a theory or hunch that certain companies were going to do well and make that shareholder money. Despite signs in the late 1920s that the economy was slowing down and companies were not selling as many products, stock market brokers continued to speculate that profits would continue to grow, so more Americans bought in. Eventually, however, the stock market crashed in October of 1929, with the stock market losing over half of its value, and along with it, many Americans losing their fortunes. In the crash's wake, American companies cut back production, which meant letting go of millions of employees, causing the unemployment rate to soar. The Federal Reserve is a government institution that was created in 1913 to protect the nation's economic stability by regulating the money supply in the economy. In other words, they had the power to print money or pull money out of circulation. By regulating the amount of money in the economy, they can attempt to control inflation and interest rates. An interest rate is the percentage a bank or institution charges for borrowing money. Throughout the 1920s, the Federal Reserve increased the money supply by over 65%. This caused interest rates to drop drastically, which encouraged more people to borrow money and for stock market speculation to grow. By 1929, the Federal Reserve recognized that this was a problem, and suddenly they decreased money supply, causing interest rates to rise rapidly. Their effort to slow down the economy worked a little too well, contributing to the economic crash. Lastly, the Smoot Hawley Act was a law written in 1929 designed to help American companies compete against foreign companies. The act raised tariffs on imported goods. A tariff is a tax, or sometimes called a duty, that must be paid on imported or exported goods. In theory, by raising tariffs on goods imported into the United States, it would raise the price of those goods, causing Americans to purchase goods made in America that did not have the tariff on them. In 1930, President Herbert Hoover signed the act into law. The plan backfired as other countries decided to put tariffs on American exports. This caused sales for American companies overseas to drop, contributing further to the economic collapse. Although not all of the contributing factors to the Great Depression, these events and economic policies all came together to help create the economic downturn. Credit, speculation, monetary policy, and foreign relations all played a vital role in creating one of the worst economic disasters in world history. So with that, hopefully you learned something, and thanks for watching.